Welcome back to Hoochos. Okay, so on today's episode of Hoochos, I'm going to take you for a walk around and we're going to have a look at what's been happening with all the hydroponic systems. I'm actually releasing, as of this video, the flood and drain accessories set that I've designed. So it's the flood and drain shroud and all of the pieces included to all Patreons. So we're going to have a look at that a bit later in the video. I haven't completed the full time-lapse grow with it. That will be an upcoming video, but I'm going to release it and I'm letting you know now. There'll be timestamps throughout the episode, and this is going to be an off-the-cuff episode just to give you an idea of how all the systems are faring and what I'm doing. It's been a while in between uploads, and that's basically because I'm changing the format of the videos. Rather than having staggered updates, I'm trying to do full videos with full time lapses so that I can give you the best experience possible, and so that anyone viewing videos as they come into the channel gets the full grow and full experience, and they're more likely to be introduced to the other content, and we can get as many people into this hobby addiction as possible. All right, so let's have a look in the greenhouse. And as you can see, there is a lot happening. Over here we've got, this is the wick wedge hydroponic system, and as you can see, it's going crazy. Essentially, I haven't actually changed these bags. These bags are all the original bags, so we're reusing the cocoa that was in the bags from all of the cucurbits that were in here. They were cucumbers, I believe. And you'll see that I've got multiple different types of tomatoes. Now, I'm in love with this variety of tomato. This is called Micro Tom, and it's fantastic because it gives you a really nice compact tomato that you can work with in small spaces, as we'll see later in the video. These are all also dwarf tomatoes. So we've got here, so this is a striped antho, which will be a black tomato, purple and black. And around here, these are yellow sweet Sue. So you'll see here, they're like a beefsteak, but they turn yellow once they're ripe, and they're going really nicely. I'm just hand pollinating all of these flowers. Over here, this is a Beto bucket hydroponic system. At the end here, we've got some more micro toms, and they are going along really nicely. What you see on the leaf here is actually where we've had so much rain, and we'll talk about that later when we get to the float box, but it's been flooding in our area, and we've actually been being inundated, more rain than our area has had in like 120 years. So I've been flooded in for about a week or so, and you're gonna have to forgive the state of me because it is like 1,000,000 degrees here. Okay, so behind me here we have the ATLI Atlas, which is a time-lapse camera that ATLI has sent me to test out, and I've been actually pretty happy with the quality of the time-lapsing that it's been doing, but that's a review that's coming. And over here we've got just a myriad of red oak leaf lettuce, I believe it is. The NFT is absolutely chockers with it. Been really happy with how this lettuce has reacted to the EC, pH, and system itself. So I've just been running this at, it's about 1 to 1.5. It's been getting driven down by the fact that the rain actually leaks through the roof here. You can see actually where it's bowing there, but it leaks into the top of my flood and drain grow bed, and it fills up my res and drops my nutrients. So you can see in there the state of the res at the moment. It's a bit of a mess, but it's not too bad. I've actually been a bit thankful that it's been refilling the res for me, because it's just one less thing that I have to do. So let's have a look at the outside systems that have been more affected by the rain that we've been having, which has been, I wouldn't say it's a problem because the systems are actually flourishing, but it's been worrying because of these floods. A lot of people in our area have been losing power, and that would be devastating for the systems like the NFT, and the Dutch bucket. The Dutch bucket not so much, because I can hand water that if it really comes down to it. But if the NFT suddenly lost power, I'd have to run it off backup power. Now, the backup power systems I have will only run for a certain amount of time before you have to recharge them. Now, you can obviously top up with solar, but that is a video that I'm planning in the future. And I've ordered a 12-volt DC pump, which is about 1,000 to 1,500 liters per hour and has a really low wattage, which will be fantastic to run with a backup system and some solar panels. So that's a future video. But back to the outside systems, as you can see behind me, the rain gutter grow system, this was the potato system, and all it is it's filled up with used cocoa that are from all of the other systems that I've built. And then I've just built a trellis over the top with the rain gutter grow system feeder from the bottom. And these are cucumber melons mixed with other things. So we've actually got some, these are beans. So these are the purple beans that I grew in my old NFT, this round pipe one, and they're going really well. Tiny egg. All right, and you can see that this is all just refilling from a float valve at the back. And then I just dump all my cocoa in there, and it's been doing just remarkably well. We've got some volunteer tomatoes over here at the back. You can see turmeric, more turmeric there, and over here even more turmeric. So the turmeric has been absolutely thriving in these systems, and I'm going to be planting a ton more turmeric as the channel progresses. And we're going to try out some other systems like the grow bag, the wick wedge systems with the turmeric. In here we've got some ginger. So these have been absolutely thriving in our rain gutter grow system. Sorry, I just realized the camera was fogging up for some reason. Anyway, fix that. So I'm going to take you over to the float box now, and I'm going to put some images up on the screen of some flooding that we experienced recently. Now, this was all around our house. We got flooded in for 3 or 4 days, 5 days maybe. A lot of people lost power, but we managed to be on a grid that didn't lose power. In 120 years, our area hadn't seen that much rain. So this is essentially what happened. Once I realized it was flooding and it had been a few days, I realized that most of the people in our area were starting to run out of food, at least fresh food that they wanted to eat. So I made the decision to collect all of the stuff that had grown on my systems. So I took it to our local corner store, which was luckily within our flooded in area, and I just gave it to them so that they could sell it on. They actually were out of fresh produce, and they do really good work in our area. So I was happy to just give it to them. Well, I felt good about helping the community that I live in. There's another benefit to growing your own food. It helps in a crisis. You can see that all of the vegetation died off. Essentially, it mostly succumbed to insects and fungus. So I've replanted it. The EC actually didn't drop too bad in the bags, but yeah, this is the state of it at the moment. And the plants that I've planted are doing all right. I've just been watering them from the top on occasion. Now, I did test the EC in our float box, and the EC got down to about 0.7. So the rain did affect the float box system. I think that the thing that most affected it was the type of plants that I had and their susceptibility to fungal diseases, which they actually died from. The next system I want to talk about is our dragon fruit system. And as you can see, they are doing phenomenally. Now, I'm actually going to be putting tops on them soon so that we can support these branches that are draping down more so than we have with this one piece of string. But as you can see, where I've cut the tops to make them sort of span out, we've got some really nice growth there, and on all of the tops that I cut too. So this is really encouraging, and these guys handle the rain really well. So all that I've been doing here is I've been watering from above, straight out of our res back here. I've just been turning on the tap and using a hose to water from above. And I've been doing this maybe once a week, and that allows me to just drain to waste water them, and it doesn't overwater them either. So I've been really happy with how this has been performing, and the only thing that I might change about my recommendations of this system is these PVC pipes, they don't really give anything for the roots to grip onto. So if you want to make it as easy on yourself as you possibly can, the roots will wrap around like this, but if you have them on something that they can get a grip on, so say it was timber, they can actually penetrate into the timber and hold themselves up. So that is one consideration. I've obviously committed to this method. So what I'm going to do today probably is I'm going to put some holes through the top of these and run a metal post, so that we have a post running between all three and then the other three as well. And then I can drape the dragon fruit over the post, and that will give me support for the tops of the hydroponic dragon fruit. I'm now going to take you into the studio shed where I am currently filming a grow, or a build in fact, of indoor propagation area slash NFT I think I'm going to make it into. So let's have a look at what we've got. And as you can see, I've got the Spider Farmer lights as studio lighting. But back here, I've got what will be a propagation area, and these are Monios LED light strips that I've been working with, and I just want to try them out. I bought them myself, and I want to see how they go. They've been working okay, and they're giving me some nice seedlings just in our rockwool cubes. But I just want to see how well they supply light compared to something like these Spider Farmer SF300 and SF600. But interesting little setup, and I am looking forward to designing something to go in this section here, so that we may have a propagation, medium propagation, and then full-sized NFT on an indoor setup. So we'll see how that goes. Just going to give these guys a water because they're a bit dry. So these are our African horned cucumbers, and you can actually see there's a little bit of a nutrient issue there. I've just bumped up the nutrients because these guys aren't going to be in a system in time. So just a half strength nutrient, it bumped up from no nutrient at all. Even though I'd rather have no nutrient for the start of these guys' growth, half strength just to give these guys a bit more color. And it's bloody hot in here. I think it's about 35 degrees. So we're going to have a look at our flood and drain assembly. This is an upcoming time lapse. The state of the plants is actually because I had the light too close. This is the Spider Farmer SE3000, and it is phenomenally powerful. So powerful that it actually overwhelmed these plants a little bit. So that was my bad. That's why they're in this state. These are micro toms, that's why they're small and bushy. And this is the flood and drain shroud that I've designed to be used in a flood and drain system. Now, I've worked with a lot of flood and drain systems in my time, and a major problem with the flood and drain systems is that these parts, these get clogged up because the roots find their way into them and block the pipe that's returning to the pump, and it stops the pump from pumping water into the flood and drain beds, and it stops it from returning. So either you do not get a flood and drain occurring, or it floods and can only push the water in, the water can't escape and it overflows. So to counteract that problem, you actually have to dig around these on occasion and then remove the roots from the system. So I've designed this box to sit in the bed and fit around our flood and drain pieces, and the pieces are included in the print. So these are 3D printable flood and drain pipes which are adjustable in height. That allows you to raise and lower the height of your flood, and they work really well. The reason I've been holding off releasing this print to everyone is because I wanted to make sure that I had the thread right on the base, so these thread perfectly now. I also wanted to make sure that the system worked and didn't present any problems before I released it to all of my Patreons. And at this point, I am overwhelmingly happy with the system results. So I'll just show you down here. So as you can see, these are our flood and drain bits and pieces, and you can see that the roots have made their way in, but we can easily clean those out. So all I have to do is I just, reach my hand in and clean out and around the shrouds. So we can just place those back in and close it up so that it's protected from light, and that is your flood and drain assembly. And how easy is that? I'm actually really happy with the result of this. I couldn't have asked it to work any better. Now, you can get leaks at the base where you drill a hole in the bed and then screw this up. The way around the leaks is by using a silicone seating washer, and this will allow you to seal beneath the flood and drain kit and between it and whatever grow bed you're using. In the future, I'm going to release a TPU STL file so that you can 3D print your own seating washers for this system. But in the meantime, if you do have leaks, you can either use these seating washers or you can use silicone to seal the base around it. Now, I don't particularly think that you need to seal it as long as your res is directly below it, because it's just going to leak back into the res, and it won't leak fast enough that it doesn't allow it to flood and drain. That is the situation of sealing it at the moment. Now, these STL files are available on my Patreon, and they're available to all Patreons as of now. So for $3 a month US, you get access to these files and all previous files that I've made. So you can go and download the wick wedge, the float box, these flood and drain kit, and you can support the channel at the same time. I'm really sorry, it's so hot here. So it's the same as all of my other prints. These prints all print in one piece without supports. So they are all arranged in the print file so that you can just drop them onto the bed, and none of them need supports because I've designed them in such a way that all of the surfaces curve at a 45-degree angle or in a dome, which allows the printer to bridge those gaps, and you don't need any wasted material for the designs. So this grow video is upcoming, and I'll do a more in-depth breakdown and setup of this flood and drain system, as well as how to print it and whatnot. But I just want to release it now quickly because I feel like I've held off long enough, and this grow is going to take a bit longer for me to get these plants back to a healthy stage because I've absolutely destroyed them with this light. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Hoochos, and lots of exciting things to come. Happy hydroponicking, and I'll see you next time on Hoochos.